He didn't. He didn't.
Well, the few votes they're going to get.
Okay.
You mean that he doesn't have memorized?
Yeah, and that particular race, I also had a guy.
Well, and the other funny thing was, did you know that they went up and John and Peggy stayed with
70% of the vote.
I didn't see.
I'm terrible with
No, 2 more
names.
years and
The old community development director.
Katie?
Yeah, with Keating stayed with him.
I'm very low.
Yeah, I was going to say, I didn't
Yeah.
That's what I was saying.
That's the way to do it. I'm
Yeah,
telling
just
you.
mum's the word.
But it's also very, very focused.
I run into him at Beer Fest.
I try not to run into him because I see him
Trust me.
running.
it'll be calm.
Good evening and welcome to the Tuesday, August 25th, 2022 meeting of the Indian River County Planning and Zoning Commission. We'll begin with a pledge of allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Are there any additions or deletions to the agenda?
No, sir.
Are you sure? Positive? Okay. The first item will be approval of the June 23rd, 2022 minutes.
I have one very, very minor edit. I am not a junior, and I see in the minutes it says Curtis Carpenter Jr. So
You are not a junior.
no,
I don't know where we got that.
I don't know either. But
Do you want to be?
Till it's corrected.
this wouldn't be bad.
Not a senior that we don't know?
No,
We'll fix that.
thank you.
Okay, so that change being made, we've got approval of the minutes, please.
Move to approve with the change.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Minutes with the change of June 23rd, 2022 are approved. We've got two agenda items tonight. The first is a quasi-judicial agenda item that is not on consent. It is Arbor West, and this is a request for a preliminary plat approval for a 35-lot, single-family conventional subdivision to be known as Arbor West. GRBK GHO Properties LLC is the owner. Sulky, Brittle, and Stoddard LLC is the agent. This is located on the south side of 21st Street Southwest, immediately west of Millstone Landing. The zoning is RS3. The density is residential 1 up to 3 units per acre, and density is 1.98 units per acre. Are there any declarations of ex parte communications regarding this? None. Swear in all who want to speak on this.
Or the next one.
You swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. We do actually have a substantive correction for this item, both in the agenda and the staff report. The correct lot count is actually 34 lots, not 35, so it is one less lot. And the correct density or resulting density would be 1.93 units per acre, not 1.98. All of the plans and applications do reflect the 34 lot 1.93 density, so that was just a typo in the staff report, and the record will show that that's the correct amount. The other item is, sorry, for the record, I'm Brian Sweeney, Chief of Current Development. I would like to reintroduce Patrick Murphy, Senior Planner. Patrick was with us for the year of 2018 and has since rejoined us, so he will be presenting tonight, and I'll turn it over to him.
Thank you, Mr. Sweeney. Good evening, Mr. Chairman and members of the Commission. As the Commissioner stated, this is a conventional subdivision called Arbor West. A quick summary, this is a singular piece of land, 17.65 acres. Excuse me. They're proposing 34 lots, which works out to a density of 1.93 units per acre. The property is zoned RS3, which allows up to 3 units per acre, so they're well below that. And they're proposing to develop this in one single phase of construction. Property is located on the south side of 21 First Street Southwest and on the west side of what will be 37th Avenue Southwest. This slide has an aerial showing the preliminary plat overlaid over the existing development. You can see there's vacant land to the north and to the south. To the west is a large tract of land with one single-family home on it, and to the east is Millstone Landing. Here the preliminary plat is overlaid to show all of the lots. They all do meet the minimum lot width and lot area criteria. There's one entrance to this, and from this point, the north area arrow orients to the east of the page on all of the subsequent maps that you'll see. Traffic circulation plan, they're proposing one gated driveway. It is being designed with a break in the medians. Should someone enter the driveway and not have a code, they can easily turn around with not backing out onto the roadway. You can see in the red box at the bottom, 37th Avenue Southwest. This is not currently constructed. They will be required to build this as part of this development. The stormwater plan, they're proposing one large stormwater management tract on the west side of the property. All of the stormwater runoff from the internal roadway, Arbor West Drive, as well as 37th Avenue will be directed to this pond to be treated. Landscape plan, they are proposing a 25-foot type B buffer with a 6-foot opaque feature along both roadways, 21st Street and 37th Avenue, as well as a double row of mitigation palms along the west side to mitigate for some existing trees that they're going to be removing as part of this development. They're also going to be planting littoral zone plantings within their upland of their pond area. The required improvements for this project, as stated, they will continue a small section of 21st Street Southwest. Currently, the road dead ends just a little bit east of the project where Millstone Landing ends, so it's roughly 100 feet. They're going to continue, and they're going to build all of 37th Street from 21st Street to the south end of their project. They're required to build all of their internal sidewalks along the common area. The sidewalks along the lots will be built as the builder builds those particular homes. They're required to provide the street lighting and the common green space and recreation area. They have it designed where it exceeds the 7.5% minimum area of the project. With that staff recommendation, staff recommends that the PZC approve the preliminary plat for Arbor West subdivision with the conditions listed in the staff report. The final tree protection and mitigation plans, as well as the final landscape and buffer plan, those need to be worked out during the land development permit and installed before a certificate of completion. Final street lighting also will be worked out during the LDP and installed before the CFC. Internal sidewalks must be constructed, and the 37th Avenue Southwest roadway improvements must be completed. Be happy to answer any questions the commission may have. The applicant is represented.
Thank you, Patrick. Commissioner questions of staff?
Yes, what, the new road, 37th Avenue Southwest, will that be built to full county standards? I mean,
Yes, it will be.
fully paved, and
It'll be a county.
will it require curb and gutter, or?
The final design, I'm not sure. It probably is curb and gutter because it's a pretty narrow right of way, and I believe the stormwater, when you account for it on the project site, you can go to that design.
Thank you.
Any other questions? All right, I'll open the floor for public comment or public questions.
Good evening, Joseph Schulke, Biddle & Stoddard, Vero Beach, Florida. I'm here representing GHO Homes. I don't have anything further to add. We agree with the staff report, but I just want to offer an opportunity for you to ask me any questions if you have any. If not, I'll be happy to sit down and let you get on with your night.
Looks like no questions.
Okay.
Been here before.
Good. Any additional, Commissioner? Questions, comments? Call for vote.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Passes unanimously. Our second agenda item is a public hearing, and that is a Glendale Baptist Church and School, and this is a request for modified conceptual site plan and special exemption use approval to construct a combined church and school, a private K-8 school with childcare services. Glendale Baptist Church Incorporated is the owner. Mills Short and Associates LLC is the agent. It's located on the northeast corner of 27th Avenue and 4th Street. The zoning is RS6, residential, single-family, up to 6 units per acre. The land use designation is L2, low-density residential 2, up to 6 units per acre. Any declaration of ex parte communications?
No.
None, and I know that the participants for this were not sworn in with the first group, so anyone who'd like to speak on this, please get sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Excellent, thank you. Staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, for the record, Ryan Sweeney, Chief of Current Development. Tonight, Brandon Cragen will be presenting, and it is a public hearing, so after staff's presentation, we'll open the public hearing.
What's
Thank
that?
you. This is a public hearing, so after staff's presentation, we'll move.
Yes, yes.
Perfect.
Yep.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening, Chair and members of the board. So before I give my formal presentation, I'd just like to add that the Glendale Baptist Church and School originally came before you all in 2019. It was subsequently approved by the Board of County Commission. This subsequent presentation is to change some of the phasing and also to add daycare use as a permitted use within this site plan. So the special exception process moves to try to determine the appropriateness and the compatibility of the requested use. To determine this, we have to review the general criteria, which is contained in section 971.28 subsection 1 of our land development regulations. There's also 2 public hearings that are a part of this, one at the PZC level tonight and one at the BCC level at a later date. So tonight, the PZC is to recommend to the BCC to either approve the request with conditions, or to deny the request. So the property is located on the northeast corner of 27th Avenue and 4th Street. This is just to give you an idea of how the site will be situated along with an aerial. It also shows you that there are residential properties, which are mostly single family, that are around this site. So the conceptual site plan will provide for the buildings, the drive aisles, the parking stalls, a baseball field, stormwater management tracks, and also the off-site improvements that are required, which we'll get into a little bit later in the presentation. So as noted at the beginning, this is a phased project. Everything that you see in gray on screen is considered phase 1, which will be the preschool and daycare use. Phase 2 is in purple. That will incorporate the elementary and middle school component to the project. And phase 3, which is the final phase, will incorporate the church sanctuary and all the associated church classrooms that will go along with the project. The traffic circulation for the project provides for 2 driveway cuts, one on 27th Avenue and one on 4th Street. The 27th Avenue driveway cut, along with all of the offsite improvements, will be constructed during phase 1 of the project. The driveway cut, along with all of the offsite improvements for 4th Street, will be constructed during phase 2 of the project. So this is one of the major differences between what was approved last time and what's being asked this time. All of the offsite improvements were tied to phase 1 of the project. These offsite improvements are tied to the phase that they will actually be required. So last time, the 4th Street improvements were required with phase 1, but they really weren't actually going to be required for the project until later phases. There's also a primary loop road in green that goes around the perimeter of the site, and then there's also a dual lane drop-off and pickup area denoted in blue in the front of the building. The conceptual landscape plan shows a 25-foot type B buffer with 6-foot opaque feature on the north and east sides of the property. I'd like to note that the applicant is providing above and beyond what's normally required. Type C would actually be required for daycares, but because they want to provide more landscaping, they're providing a type B, which is a little bit more stringent. They're also providing a 20-foot thoroughfare buffer on the west and south sides of the property, which is required by code. The dedications and improvements for the site, as noted, the turn lane improvements for 27th Avenue will be with phase 1, and the improvements for 4th Street will be with phase 2. There's stormwater treatment for the off-site turn lanes. The 27th Avenue sidewalk will also be built with phase 1. There will be internal sidewalk and pedestrian systems. Street lighting is being provided. No outdoor lighting for the multi-purpose play field is being provided, and that was a condition of approval on the last iteration of this project as well. And the maximum student enrollment will be 400 students, which again was a condition of approval on the last iteration of this project. So staff recommends that the Plan and Zoning Commission recommend to the Board of County Commission that they grant special exception approval for the daycare facility and amend the conceptual site plan with the conditions stated in the staff report. These conditions are related to the final design of required plans and improvements via the final site plan, the maximum student enrollment of 400 students, no outdoor lighting for the multipurpose playfield, and the turn lane improvements for 27th Avenue and 4th Street in phases 1 and 2 respectively. I'm available for any questions you may have.
All right, P&Z Commissioner, questions of staff?
I'm just curious on what the response was from the surrounding community. I'm sure you've got some input.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Mr. Bragnano. This time around, not much. First time around, we did have quite a few folks from particularly Laurelwood, which is the subdivision that abuts to the north and to the east. We had, as far as I know, one individual asked some very basic questions. Primarily, they asked if the daycare would operate past 6 p.m. or on weekends, and we said no. And that was really all they said thanks.
Thank you.
You've limited the school to 400 students. Is there any limit to the daycare?
Yeah, in phase 1, the daycare / the pre, it's really K3, K4 pre-daycare program is 100 students.
Oh.
And that's tied to the parking. That's part of the reason for the limitations. And then the 400 would be the total student enrollment. One other thing, just to go back to Todd's question, it's the same process we went through last time. So we did do notice by mail. I don't know the number off the top of my head. Is probably just by eyeballing the sheet, I can see 50 or 60 mail notices, and it was by and large the same folks that got it back in 2019. So I think their questions were already answered.
That's good. And I can see that just in the fact that there's going to be no lighting on the ball field, so I'm assuming that was probably input
That was
from them.
one of the major issues last time.
Thank you very much.
Is the 400, does that include the 100?
Correct. Yes.
Oh, okay. I didn't know whether they were considered students
No,
or not.
it's 400 total.
Yeah, thank you. So is it preschool or is it daycare?
Yes.
Okay.
I like that answer.
The reason for the differentiation so Glendale currently has a pre-kindergarten, K3 and K4 program, and then a K-8 school. Last time around, inadvertently, we only applied the special exception use criteria for K-8, which is considered to be an educational facility. A daycare or childcare facility is actually a different use per our code, and that was omitted last time. So we're basically kind of dotting our I's and crossing our T's since they had to go back through with the phasing anyways.
Thank you.
What is the estimated timeline for start to finish of this project?
I couldn't venture a guess. They do have to go through final site plan approval, which is going to be at the staff level, but also between construction being crazy and materials and all of those things.
It's going to be a significant time before it's complete.
Will there be a left-hand turn onto 27th Avenue?
With phase 1, correct, yeah. So phase 1, again, includes the driveway connection to 27th Ave, right and left turn lanes, and that's only for the 100 students. That's why we were comfortable with pairing off the 4th Street. Last time around with phase 1, they had all 400 students with phase 1, so that was why we were adamant about having both driveways and both turn lane improvements. This time around, it's a much lower phase.
So as the school is exited on 27th Avenue, there'll be you'll be able to make a left-hand turn?
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't understand. Yeah, the outbound. Yes, you'll be able to make a left out onto 27th Ave.
And when it's complete, will you be able to make a left onto 4th Street out of the school?
Yeah, if actually go back to staff here on the screen. If you look, the way that it's designed, the driveways are as far away from the intersection as possible. This is significantly better and different than their current campus.
Anyone else? All right, this is a public hearing, so I'll open the floor for public comment. Please come to either one of the podiums. If you want to talk, no pressure, no pressure at all.
Good evening, Wesley Mills, Mills Short and Associates, engineer of record for the project. Happy to answer any technical questions if you have some.
Any technical questions?
I don't know how technical it is, but someone asked about the completion date. Do you have any estimate on a start date?
So I believe the intent is to finish up site plan drawings right away and put that out for bid, and I believe architectural building plans are being prepared as we speak. So the intent is to move forward full speed ahead. Whatever the market allows us to
Sure.
move forward.
Good answer. Thank you.
I have a couple of questions.
Thank you,
if don't
Wesley.
mind. The 27th Avenue sidewalk that's being recommended or required, is that on the east or the west side of 27th Avenue?
That would be on the east side.
And is there any other sidewalk?
There-
Because I don't remember
Yeah,
seeing anything.
Yeah, mostly the churches on the east side of 27th Ave have sidewalk segments. Unfortunately, there are, like, I know for a fact, if it's the First Church of Nazarene or the one that's north of 12th Street, but there's several sidewalk segments. Unfortunately, there are residential properties that kind of,
So there's no continuation.
right, but the more segments we get, the easier it is for Public Works to punch in, fill in the gaps.
And there is a sidewalk that goes from 4th Street to.
Correct, there's an
Route 60
existing
on the west
sidewalk
side.
on 4th Street, absolutely.
Is there a policy to fill in the gaps?
That's a financial question.
There's a policy and there's also an FDOT grant program called Sidewalks to Schools, where FDOT will put up anywhere from, I think, 75% or higher to pay for the cost of the sidewalks.
Thank you.
And I think there's a certain radius or linear feet that you have to be within, but they will fill in gaps for that as well.
Okay, I'm just concerned about a safety issue, not that kids walk to school much anymore anyways, but their parents drive them, which leads to another issue. But, I mean, it's a sidewalk to nowhere again. It's not really connected to anything that I can remember unless you can show me.
Again, there are a number of
There's gaps in between, so, I mean, they're gonna walk alongside the road. Or they're just not gonna.
You do have the sidewalk on the west side,
Correct.
right?
Right,
That
they
goes
still
from
have to
4th all
cross
the way
the
down. So you'd have to cross over 4th, or cross 27th on 4th.
I know there's a crossing guard there at that intersection, so.
Everything's a process. It takes time.
Correct. If we don't build the segments now, then it's a lot harder to do it later.
But there is on both 27th Avenue and 4th Street, the exit out of the subdivision, or I'm sorry, out of the daycare area is going to be allowed to cross both roads, traffic. So if you're coming onto 27th Avenue and leaving the daycare facility, you're trying to get out of the daycare facility onto 27th Avenue and head south, which I know is.
I think that's the same, I thought that was the same question that
Yeah.
we covered, is that, yes, you will be able to make a southbound left out of the school, but it is several hundred feet north of the intersection?
Yes. Yeah, and one thing I'd like to also just kind of add as far as traffic volumes, especially for this phase one, the total trips for phase one was 411 trips per day, which is 11 trips over even warranting a traffic study. So we, at 411 trips, under a normal condition, a project wouldn't even warrant a right turn lane or left turn lane, but those are still built in our project. So phase one is going to be very minimal amount of traffic. And also on site is we have 800 feet of stacking before you ever impact the entrance into the site.
Thank you, Wesley.
Anything else, Chip?
No, I just have concerns as to the safety of those people pulling out onto 27th and 4th Street. I mean, I understand it's a certain distance away from the intersection, but, I mean, stuff backs up along that road, especially during school time.
Yeah, I mean, again, the only other thing I'll add is that it's, speaking from experience, it's much better than their current site, and the K3 and K4 will alleviate some of that.
I hope it's better than Beachland.
Any other public comments? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing. Any other commissioner questions? Hearing none, I'll call for a motion.
Motion to approve?
Motion to approve?
Second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion passes. All right. Any commissioner matters? None. Any planning matters?
Yes, Mr. Chair, just two quick items. One is I'm hoping not to have I believe it's September 9th, P&Z. It's a short turnaround and it's Labor Day weekend, so, but we are definitely expecting to have the September 22nd meeting as an FYI.
What date was that? The
September 22nd, it's the
22nd?
fourth Thursday.
And
Yeah.
that's a yes?
That's a yes. And the only other item I'll put out there as an informal sort of maybe think about, we might like to maybe move the start time of these meetings up to 6:30 or 6. I know it's been 7 for a long, long time, but got a lot of young folks with young kids at home, so just putting it out there. We'll come back with a formal proposal or a straw vote at some point.
Like next meeting?
Sure.
Good.
Am I getting a lot of nods? Because
That
I'd
would be
happy to-
great.
yeah.
Yes.
That would be great. I think that would make a bunch of people happy.
Mr. Chairman, if you want to put something forward tonight,
No, we'll put it on as a formal item. I don't know, logistically, I think we have to change the resolution.
I think we would, yes. Because there's a resolution that sets the time for the hearing. We're going to have to dust that one off.
I understand you have the right way, and then you have my way. I get it.
But we've got a month to work on that, right?
Right,
We do.
And
Great.
I'm getting the general sense that we'll move forward with.
Just trying to knock it out before Thursday night football starts. Come on.
Right.
I just wanted to let you all know I will be out of town for the 22nd, so I will not be available for the meeting.
Safe travels.
Thank you.
Yep, no problem.
And is the first meeting canceled for sure?
No, but next, basically Monday is the final decision, and I have no intention of voting that one.
Okay.
Attorney matters?
None.
Great. Adjourned.
You just cut poor Phil out.
If you all miss us and want to see us before the 22nd, you can come to planners training,
Oh, yes, which is,
21st.
oh, how about that?
So notice and invitations will go out. There's food involved.
I have a root canal scheduled that day. I'm just kidding.
Those who need it most won't come to the training.
Just
Did you
kidding.
come up
Pick
with
your poison.
scholarship money?